Practice Exam GPT-1, Home Inspection. Questions and answers from InterNACHI Home Inspection. Next question. According to the InterNACHI Home Inspection Standards of Practice, a component is defined as a permanently installed or attached fixture, element or part of a system. A temporarily installed or attached fixture, something loosely attached to something else, the system in its entirety. The correct answer is a permanently installed or attached fixture, element, or part of a system. Next question. The InterNACHI inspector is not allowed to offer to perform repair services on an inspected home for a period of months from the date of inspection. 12.6.3. The correct answer is 12 months. According to InterNACHI's Code of Ethics, an inspector is not allowed to offer to perform repair services on a home they have inspected for a period of 12 months from the date of the inspection. Next question. TF. A home inspector is required to determine the accuracy of each breaker's labeling and identification. True or false? The correct answer is false. A home inspector is not required to determine the accuracy of each breaker's labeling and identification. While inspectors may note any obvious issues or hazards, verifying the accuracy of breaker labeling typically falls outside the scope of a standard home inspection. Next question. According to the InterNACHI Home Inspection Standards of Practice, inspectors required to check for compliance with building local codes and regulations. Are or not? The correct answer is are not. According to the InterNACHI Home Inspection Standards of Practice, inspectors are not required to check for compliance with local building codes and regulations. Their focus is on identifying defects or safety issues, not ensuring code compliance. Next question. According to the InterNACHI Home Inspection Standards of Practice, the home inspection report must indicate the presence of asbestos, environmental hazards, lead paint, radon. None of these, all of these. The correct answer is none of these. According to the InterNACHI Home Inspection Standards of Practice, the home inspection report is not required to indicate the presence of asbestos, environmental hazards, lead paint, or radon, unless the inspector specifically observes issues related to these hazards. However, inspectors are encouraged to recommend further testing if any of these concerns arise during the inspection. Next question. The main service disconnect is the scope of a home inspection. Beyond, excluded from, not part of, not within, within. The correct answer is within. The main service disconnect is within the scope of a home inspection. Inspectors are required to identify and evaluate the main service disconnect during an inspection as part of the electrical system evaluation. Next question. Flashing is within the scope of a home inspection, according to the InterNACHI Home Inspection Standards of Practice. An erosion control measure, an underground downspout drainage pipe flashing the underground main electrical line. The correct answer is flashing. According to the InterNACHI Home Inspection Standards of Practice, flashing is within the scope of a home inspection. Inspectors are required to check for proper installation and condition of flashing, as it plays a key role in preventing water intrusion around areas like chimneys, vents, and windows. Next question. Which of the following types of fireplaces should be turned on by the inspector? Wood fires, coal fires, and wood pellet, gas inserts. The correct answer is gas inserts. According to the InterNACHI Home Inspection Standards of Practice, the inspector is required to turn on gas inserts to check their operation. However, wood fires, coal fires, and wood pellet feeders are typically not turned on by the inspector during the inspection. Next question. The fastening of the roof covering material is the scope of a home inspection. Not within? Within? The correct answer is not within. The fastening of the roof covering material is not within the scope of a home inspection. Inspectors typically evaluate the condition of the roof covering but are not required to assess the specific method or effectiveness of how the material is fastened. Next question. According to InterNACHI's Home Inspection Standards of Practice, inspectors are not required to walk all roofs. Are or not? The correct answer is are not. According to InterNACHI's Home Inspection Standards of Practice, inspectors are not required to walk all roofs. While walking the roof is often the best way to inspect it, inspectors may use ladders, drones, or other methods to inspect the roof if walking it is unsafe or not feasible. Next question. The term pitch and slope are often used interchangeably, which is correct. They mean the same thing. True, false? The correct answer is false. While the terms pitch and slope are often used interchangeably, they are not technically the same. Pitch refers to the steepness of a roof and is typically expressed as a ratio of the rise to the run. Slope, on the other hand, refers to the angle or steepness of the roof in terms of a percentage or degree. So, while they are related, they have different technical meanings. Next question. Valley flashing that cannot be seen is called a closed valley, hidden valley, open valley. The correct answer is hidden valley. A hidden valley is a type of valley flashing that cannot be seen because it is concealed beneath the roofing material. This is in contrast to an open valley, where the flashing is visible, and a closed valley, where the roofing material itself is installed to create a closed, watertight seam. Next question. Home inspectors are not required to measure the amount of gutter slope. True or false? The correct answer is true. Home inspectors are not required to measure the amount of gutter slope. While inspectors may note if the gutters appear to be functioning properly or if there are visible issues, measuring the slope of the gutters is not a requirement under standard home inspection protocols. Next question. An aluminum vent and a steel roof will react against each other due to galvanic reaction. The correct answer is galvanic reaction. When two dissimilar metals such as aluminum and steel come into contact in the presence of moisture, a galvanic reaction can occur. This leads to corrosion of the less noble metal due to electrochemical reactions between the metals. Next question. It is a common building standard to have a distance of to separate the siding from a roof surface. 1 to 2 inches, 2 to 4 inches less than 1 inch. The correct answer is 1 to 2 inches. It is a common building standard to have a distance of 1 to 2 inches between the siding and a roof surface. This gap helps prevent water from being trapped between the two surfaces, which could lead to moisture damage or rot. Next question. The following statement applies to this chimney. A rain cap is required. The cap is cracked. The flue is cracked. The step flashings have failed. There are no visible problems. There has probably been a chimney fire. The correct answer is a rain cap is required. A rain cap is an essential component of a chimney that helps prevent rain, debris, and animals from entering the flue. If the chimney is missing a rain cap, it is a common issue that should be addressed. The other options refer to specific problems, but if the question is about a general requirement, a rain cap is often necessary for proper chimney function and protection. Next question. A flat roof will usually have a passive venting system installed. A passive venting system. Gable vents, ridge and soffit vents. The correct answer is a passive venting system. Flat roofs typically use a passive venting system, such as soffit vents or vents installed at higher points of the roof, to allow air circulation and prevent moisture buildup. Gable vents, ridge and soffit vents are more commonly found on pitched roofs. Next question. A 4:12 roof slope can be expressed as the ratio of 4:12. 12, 3, 1, 12, 4:12. The correct answer is 4:12. A 4 and minus 12 roof slope means that for every 12 horizontal inches the roof rises 4 inches. This is expressed as the ratio 4:12. Next question. Type cable is rated for direct burial and has outer sheathing that is resistant to moisture and damage from soil. AC, DC, FC, UF? The correct answer is UF. UF cable is rated for direct burial and has outer sheathing that is resistant to moisture and damage from soil. It is commonly used for electrical wiring in outdoor or underground installations. Next question. This illustration describes the Ohm's law. Ohm's plumbing positrons. The correct answer is Ohm's. This law, known as Ohm's law, relates to the relationship between voltage, current, and resistance in an electrical circuit. It states that V equal to IR, meaning voltage equals current multiplied by resistance. Next question. Modern bathroom receptacles are typically on circuits. 15 amp AFCI protected 15 amp, GFCI protected 20 amp, AFCI protected 20 amp, GFCI protected. The correct answer is 20% amp GFCI protected. Modern bathroom receptacles are typically on 20 amp circuits and are required to be GFCI protected for safety, to prevent electrical shocks in wet environments. Next question. The minimum recommended clearance for overhead conductors located over a flat roof accessible to pedestrian traffic is at least feet. 10, 12, 18, 20. The correct answer is 10 feet. The minimum recommended clearance for overhead conductors located over a flat roof accessible to pedestrian traffic is at least 10 feet. This clearance helps ensure safety and compliance with electrical codes. Next question. Service drops should not pass closer than feet over the ridge of a sloped roof. 3, 6. The correct answer is 3 feet. Service drops should not pass closer than 3 feet over the ridge of a sloped roof. This clearance helps prevent potential hazards and ensures proper installation according to electrical safety codes. Next question. Conductors located between distribution panels are called feeders, legs, runners, travelers. The correct answer is feeders. Conductors located between distribution panels are called feeders. These are used to carry electrical power from the main panel to subpanels or other distribution points. Next question. An electric panel that does not contain the service disconnect is called a panel. distribution, main, service. The correct answer is distribution panel. A distribution panel is an electrical panel that does not contain the service disconnect. It is typically used to distribute electrical power to various circuits but is downstream of the main service panel, which contains the service disconnect. Next question. An electrical panel cover is more properly called the dead front panel cover. Dead front panel cover, distribution, center, enclosure. The correct answer is dead front panel cover. An electrical panel cover is more properly called the dead front panel cover. This cover is designed to protect users from coming into contact with live electrical components inside the panel. Next question. The purpose of is to ensure the electrical continuity of the fault current path, to provide the capacity and ability to conduct safely any fault current likely to be imposed, and to aid in the operation of the overcurrent protection device. Bonding and grounding. The correct answer is grounding. The purpose of grounding is to ensure the electrical continuity of the fault current path, provide the capacity to conduct any fault current safely, and aid in the operation of the overcurrent protection device. Grounding helps protect people and equipment by directing excess electrical current safely to the earth in the event of a fault. Next question. A manual damper should be used only with a solid fuel-burning appliance and not with a gas-fired appliance. The correct answer is solid fuel-burning. Gas-fired. A manual damper should be used only with a solid fuel-burning appliance and not with a gas-fired appliance. Gas appliances are designed to operate with a constant flow of air, and using a manual damper can interfere with their operation and safety. Next question. Glass doors enclosing the shower must be made of safety glazing. The correct answer is must be. Glass doors enclosing the shower must be made of safety glazing. This requirement is in place to prevent injury in case the glass is broken, as safety glazing is designed to break into small, less harmful pieces. Next question. Inspectors are not required to determine the existence of polybutylene plumbing in a home. The correct answer is polybutylene. Inspectors are not required to determine the existence of polybutylene plumbing in a home, although it is a known material that was used in plumbing systems from the 1970s to the 1990s and is prone to failure. Inspectors may note the presence of polybutylene plumbing if they encounter it, but it is not a specific requirement under standard home inspection practices. Next question. Fuel-fired water heaters should not obtain combustion air from sleeping rooms, bathrooms, or toilet rooms. Damaged, electric, fuel-fired, insulated. The correct answer is fuel-fired. Fuel-fired water heaters should not obtain combustion air from sleeping rooms, bathrooms, or toilet rooms. This is a safety measure to prevent the potential accumulation of dangerous gases like carbon monoxide in living spaces. Next question. A sediment trap should be installed downstream of the equipment shutoff valve and as close to the inlet of the equipment appliance as possible. Electrical receptacle. Outlets, wall sediment. Inlet, toilet. Outlet. The correct answer is sediment, inlet. A sediment trap should be installed downstream of the equipment shutoff valve and as close to the inlet of the equipment appliance as possible. This helps capture any sediment or debris that could clog or damage the appliance, especially in gas lines or water heaters. Next question. In order to get good results in relation to observing water pressure at fixtures, it is good inspection procedural practice to inspect the plumbing fixtures at the point in the dwelling. The correct answer is highest. In order to get good results in relation to observing water pressure at fixtures, it is good inspection procedural practice to inspect the plumbing fixtures at the highest point in the dwelling. This is because water pressure is often lower at higher elevations, and checking at the highest fixture ensures that any pressure issues are detectable across the entire system. Next question. A short length of pipe attached directly to a fixture by means of a flange for connection to other piping or traps is called a barrel, standpipe, tailpiece, trap, arm. The correct answer is tailpiece. A tailpiece is a short length of pipe attached directly to a fixture by means of a flange, typically for connection to other piping or traps. It is commonly used in sinks and other fixtures to direct wastewater into the drain system. Next question. Concrete laundry tubs do not provide a smooth and sanitary surface, which is no longer permitted. Concrete, galvanized steel, plastic. The correct answer is concrete. Concrete laundry tubs do not provide a smooth sanitary surface and are no longer permitted in some building codes due to their porous nature, which can harbor bacteria and contaminants. Modern materials like galvanized steel or plastic are more commonly used for laundry tubs as they offer smoother, more hygienic surfaces. Next question. Vent pipes that pass through a roof should end at least 6 inches above the roof. At least, less than, no more than. The correct answer is At least. Vent pipes that pass through a roof should end at least 6 inches above the roof. This height helps prevent water from entering the vent and ensures proper airflow. Next question. Precast foundation walls can make building foundations more simple for the builder. Complex, difficult, simple, slower. The correct answer is simple. Precast foundation walls can make building foundations more simple for the builder. They are pre-made off-site and delivered ready for installation, which can speed up the process and reduce labor complexity compared to traditional poured foundations. Next question. TF. The weight and pressure of dirt and soil may affect and actually crack a foundation. True, false? The correct answer is true. The weight and pressure of dirt and soil can indeed affect and potentially crack a foundation. Shifting soil, excessive moisture, or the weight of surrounding earth can put stress on a foundation, leading to cracks or other structural issues over time. Next question. TF. Hairline cracks observed at a poured concrete foundation wall are not generally considered to be major structural defects or material structural defects, but they may allow water to penetrate. True? False? The correct answer is true. Hairline cracks observed at a poured concrete foundation wall are not generally considered major structural defects, but they can potentially allow water to penetrate. While these cracks may not compromise the overall structure, they could lead to moisture issues, which may require attention to prevent water damage or mold growth. Next question. TF. A wet soil condition near the building foundation perimeter can cause structural defects as the moisture is absorbed by the porous building materials. The correct answer is true. A wet soil condition near the building foundation perimeter can cause structural defects. When excess moisture is absorbed by porous building materials, such as concrete or wood, it can lead to weakening, expansion, and potential shifting of the foundation, which may result in structural issues over time. Next question. TF. The home inspector should look at all readily accessible surfaces in the house and report upon observed indications of marks created by water intrusion. The correct answer is true. The home inspector should look at all readily accessible surfaces in the house and report upon observed indications of marks created by water intrusion. Signs of water damage such as stains, discoloration, or mold should be noted, as they can indicate past or ongoing issues with moisture. Next question. Using the chart, what is the minimum size of grade A joist needed to span 12 feet if they are to be placed 16 inches on center? X 8 to 2 x 8 to 2 times 6. To determine the minimum size of grade A joists needed to span 12 feet, we typically refer to span tables based on wood grade, spacing, and load requirements. Based on general guidelines for grade A lumber placed 16 inches on center, the minimum size joist needed to span 12 feet would typically be 2 times. This size should provide the necessary support for standard residential loads. However, it's always best to consult a local building code or structural engineer to ensure accuracy based on specific conditions and requirements. Next question. The first course of horizontal lumber placed on top of and attached to the foundation wall is known as the sheathing, sill plate, slope, ratio trimmer. The correct answer is sill plate. The sill plate is the first course of horizontal lumber placed on top of and attached to the foundation wall. It provides a base for the framing of the structure, and is typically anchored to the foundation to secure the rest of the building's framing. Next question. TF. A home inspection is technically exhaustive. The correct answer is false. A home inspection is not technically exhaustive. Home inspections are typically visual examinations of the property's systems and components, focusing on identifying visible defects or safety concerns. Inspectors are not required to disassemble systems or perform exhaustive testing, which would go beyond the scope of a standard home inspection. Next question. Deck joists that cantilever half their length are considered dangerous safe. The correct answer is dangerous. Deck joists that cantilever half their length are generally considered dangerous and do not meet standard building codes. The maximum cantilever for deck joists is typically limited to 1/4 of the joist length for safety and structural integrity. Cantilevering half the length can lead to excessive bending or potential failure of the deck structure. Next question. The snake known to shake its tail when startled is a copperhead, coral snake, garter snake, king snake, rattlesnake, water moccasin? The correct answer is rattlesnake. The rattlesnake is known for shaking its tail when startled, creating a distinctive rattling sound as a warning to potential threats. This behavior is a defense mechanism to alert predators or humans to stay away. Next question. Portable stepladders longer than 20 feet must be made of fiberglass, must be made of metal, must be made of wood, must have a Class 3 rating, require a Class 2 rating, should not be used. The correct answer is should not be used. Portable stepladders longer than 20 feet should not be used. According to safety standards, stepladders over this length can be unstable and unsafe. Ladders longer than 20 feet typically require a different design, such as extension ladders, to ensure safe use. Next question. Ladders have two sections that operate with brackets or guides that allow for the ladder to be used at adjustable lengths. Extension. Folding, single step. The correct answer is extension. Extension ladders have two sections that operate with brackets or guides, allowing for the ladder to be used at adjustable lengths. This makes them versatile and suitable for reaching varying heights. Next question. Many inspection-related back injuries can be attributed to poor lifting and ladder climbing techniques. Poor or safe? The correct answer is poor. Many inspection-related back injuries can be attributed to poor lifting and ladder climbing techniques. Proper body mechanics and using correct techniques when lifting or climbing can help prevent these types of injuries during home inspections. Next question. Doing tasks that require an awkward bending posture for more than 1 minute may contribute to a lower back injury, a slight headache, vertigo. The correct answer is a lower back injury. Doing tasks that require an awkward bending posture for more than 1 minute may contribute to a lower back injury. Prolonged awkward positions can strain the muscles and ligaments in the lower back, increasing the risk of injury. Next question. The main cause of falls from straight and extension ladders is accidentally cutting yourself on a gutter edge or flashing, sliding, of the ladder base, where the ladder base slips out and moves farther away from the structure. Using feet levelers, wearing roof boots with detachable soles. The correct answer is sliding of the ladder base, where the ladder base slips out and moves farther away from the structure. The main cause of falls from straight and extension ladders is sliding of the ladder base. When the base of the ladder is not positioned properly or is on unstable ground, it can slip out and cause the ladder to become unstable, increasing the risk of a fall. Proper placement and securing of the ladder are critical for safety. Next question. If a person injured at an inspection becomes faint or is breathing in short, rapid breaths, it may be an indication that he or she has broken a bone or is bleeding internally or is going into shock. The correct answer is going into shock. If a person injured at an inspection becomes faint or is breathing in short, rapid breaths, it may be an indication that they are going into shock. Shock is a serious medical condition that occurs when the body is not getting enough blood flow, and it requires immediate medical attention. Symptoms can include fainting, rapid breathing, and confusion. Next question. Dog bites are common than cat bites, but cat bites are more likely to become infected. Less, more. The correct answer is more. Dog bites are more common than cat bites, but cat bites are more likely to become infected. This is because cat bites tend to be deeper and involve puncture wounds, which can introduce bacteria into the body more easily, leading to a higher risk of infection. Next question. A confined space that has the potential to contain a hazardous atmosphere may be classified as a cellar, permit required confined space, pit vault. The correct answer is permit required confined space. A confined space that has the potential to contain a hazardous atmosphere may be classified as a permit required confined space. These spaces require special permits and safety measures due to the risk of exposure to dangerous conditions such as toxic gases, oxygen deficiency, or flammable atmospheres. Next question. A minimum service of amps is required for a single residential dwelling unit. 100, 125, 260. The correct answer is 100%. A minimum service of 100 amps is required for a single residential dwelling unit. This is typically the standard for most homes, providing enough capacity to power essential appliances and systems. Next question. The horizontal distance from the fixture outlet to the trap weir should not be greater than inches measured from the center line of the fixture outlet to the center line of the inlet of the trap. 20, 25, 30, 32? The correct answer is 30. The horizontal distance from the fixture outlet to the trap weir should not be greater than 30 inches, measured from the center line of the fixture outlet to the center line of the inlet of the trap. This is to ensure proper drainage and prevent potential issues with wastewater flow. Next question. Glass block is considered double glazing, hazardous, masonry, safety, glazing. The correct answer is masonry. Glass block is considered masonry. It is a building material made of thick, durable glass blocks that are typically used for decorative purposes or in areas where light transmission is desired, but privacy is needed. It is not considered safety glazing unless specified to be tempered or treated for safety purposes. Next question. In general, each plumbing fixture should be separately trapped by a anti-mold spray convertible trap water seal trap. The correct answer is water seal trap. In general, each plumbing fixture should be separately trapped by a water seal trap. This type of trap, commonly a P-trap or S-trap, uses water to create a seal that prevents sewer gases from entering the living space while allowing wastewater to flow out. Next question. If particle board is used as wall sheathing, the grade mark with type or should be stamped on it. CNN 4CCX.TX Mem 2 millionth. T2. The correct answer is CXTX. If particle board is used as wall sheathing, the grade mark with type CX or TX should be stamped on it. These marks indicate that the particle board meets the required standards for use in construction, specifically for wall sheathing applications. Next question. Clearance from an overhead electrical line is required from windows that do not open. 10 foot, 5 foot. No. The correct answer is no. There is generally no specific clearance requirement from overhead electrical lines for windows that do not open, as they do not present a direct risk of contact with the electrical line. However, the clearance requirements typically apply to areas where people could come into contact with the electrical lines, such as openable windows, doors, and balconies. Always consult local electrical codes for specific guidelines. Next question. If a building is located in a hurricane-prone area, the first course of shingles should be nailed to the starter strip. Doubled nailed to the starter strip, sealed to the starter strip with roof cement, stapled to the starter strip. The correct answer is nailed to the starter strip. In hurricane-prone areas, the first course of shingles should be nailed to the starter strip. This provides a secure and reliable attachment to help prevent shingles from being lifted or torn off by strong winds. The starter strip ensures that the shingles are properly aligned and secured at the roof's edge. Next question. The vertical clearance from open electrical service conductors should be at least feet over public streets, alleys, roads, and parking areas that are subject to truck traffic. 12, 18, 22, 5, 8. The correct answer is 18. The vertical clearance from open electrical service conductors should be at least 18 feet over public streets, alleys, roads, and parking areas that are subject to truck traffic. This clearance ensures that vehicles, especially large trucks, can pass safely beneath the electrical lines without risk of contact. Next question. Air admittance valves are activated electronically, pressure, temperature, voice. The correct answer is pressure. Air admittance valves are pressure activated. These valves open when there is a pressure difference between the inside of the plumbing system and the surrounding air, allowing air to enter the system to prevent negative pressure that could lead to drainage problems. They close when the pressure is equalized, preventing sewer gases from escaping. Next question. Current building standards typically require a minimum of inches of fall and ground level over a distance of 10 feet from the perimeter of the building. 2, 4, 6, 8. The correct answer is 6. Current building standards typically require a minimum of 6 inches of fall and ground level over a distance of 10 feet from the perimeter of the building. This slope helps direct water away from the foundation to prevent water accumulation and potential foundation damage. Next question. Poor site drainage of surface water is perhaps the contributor to foundation moisture problems. Irrelevant, least, important, most important. The correct answer is most important. Poor site drainage of surface water is perhaps the most important contributor to foundation moisture problems. When water accumulates near the foundation, it can lead to moisture infiltration, weakening the structure and potentially causing cracks, settling, or other foundation issues. Proper drainage around the foundation is essential to prevent these problems. Next question. For roof slopes from 212 to 412, there should be layer of underlayment applied. 4, 1, 3, 2. The correct answer is 2. For roof slopes from 212 to 412, there should be 2 layers of underlayment applied. This is to provide additional waterproofing protection for roofs with lower slopes, as they are more prone to water infiltration compared to steeper slopes. Next question. Home inspectors are to inspect for code compliance, not required or required. The correct answer is not required. Home inspectors are not required to inspect for code compliance. Their primary role is to identify visible defects or safety issues with the property, but they are not responsible for ensuring that the home meets local building codes. Code compliance is typically the responsibility of the builder, contractor, or local authorities. Next question. Decay of common wood framing materials can begin when the moisture content of untreated wood exceeds 100%, 20%, 30%, 5%. The correct answer is 20%. Decay of common wood framing materials can begin when the moisture content of untreated wood exceeds 20%. At this level, wood becomes susceptible to fungal growth, which can lead to rot and deterioration of the material. Next question. If a slab shows signs of a pre-existing moisture problem, such as dampness or condensation, salt deposition, or standing water, The issue should be addressed moving ahead with finish flooring, after or before. The correct answer is before. If a slab shows signs of a pre-existing moisture problem, such as dampness or condensation, salt deposition, or standing water, the issue should be addressed before moving ahead with finish flooring. Ignoring moisture problems can lead to damage to the flooring and potential mold growth over time. Proper moisture control and remediation are essential to prevent further issues. Next question. At exterior window and door openings shall extend to the surface of the exterior wall finish or to the water-resistive barrier for subsequent drainage. Number 15 felt 6 mil, barrier, flashing, sealant. The correct answer is flashing. Flashing at exterior window and door openings shall extend to the surface of the exterior wall finish or to the water-resistive barrier for subsequent drainage. Flashing helps direct water away from these openings to prevent moisture from entering the building. Next question. It is to vent a crawl space for moisture control if it is open to an adjacent basement. Necessary or not necessary? The correct answer is not necessary. It is not necessary to vent a crawl space for moisture control if it is open to an adjacent basement. Venting a crawl space is typically recommended in situations where it is completely enclosed and has no connection to other parts of the home, but if it is open to a basement, moisture control measures can be managed as part of the overall basement system. Next question. The elevation of a slab-on-grade foundation should be a minimum of above the exterior finish grade. 1 inch, 12 inches, 8 inches. The correct answer is 8 inches. The elevation of a slab-on-grade foundation should be a minimum of 8 inches above the exterior finish grade. This helps prevent moisture from accumulating near the foundation, which could lead to water intrusion or damage over time. Next question. An interesting fact about decks is that there is no correlation between deck failure and the lack of a building permit or the load on the deck or the structural integrity of the deck. The correct answer is the load on the deck. An interesting fact about decks is that there is no correlation between deck failure and the load on the deck. Deck failures are often more related to issues such as poor construction, inadequate materials, lack of proper fastening, and corrosion, rather than the actual load being placed on the deck. Proper design and maintenance are crucial for deck stability. Next question. Planking should be laid together as snugly as possible. Should be or should not be. You cannot have a butt joint in the middle of a footer rail, girder span, post. You cannot have a butt joint in the middle of a footer rail, girder span, post. You cannot have a butt joint in the middle of a girder span. A butt joint in the middle of a girder span is not recommended because it can create a weak point in the structure, compromising the overall stability and load-bearing capacity. Instead, it's better to have a continuous span, or to use a splice with reinforcement when joining two sections of a girder. Next question. A separation of the deck ledger board from the house accounts for roughly 90% of all deck collapses. Weak or rotted deck planking. A separation of the deck ledger board from the house accounts for roughly 90% of all deck collapses. The ledger board is a critical component that connects the deck to the house, and if it becomes detached or compromised, it can lead to catastrophic failure of the deck. This is a common cause of deck collapses, especially if the ledger board was not properly installed or has deteriorated due to rot or corrosion. Next question. Planking laid together as snugly as possible. Should be or should not be. Planking should be laid together as snugly as possible. When installing deck planking, it's important to lay the boards tightly together to minimize gaps, which can help prevent water from pooling between the boards and reduce the likelihood of rot or insect infestation. However, there should still be enough space between boards for proper drainage and ventilation, so while the planks should be close, they shouldn't be forced together too tightly. Next question. For safety reasons, handrails should be graspable, made of 2-inch by 6-inch lumber, made of deck planking. For safety reasons, handrails should be graspable. Handrails are an essential safety feature, and they need to be easily grasped to provide support and prevent falls. This means they should be designed with a shape and size that allows a secure grip. The U.S. building codes typically require handrails to be between 1.25 to 2 inches in diameter or width to ensure they're comfortable and safe to hold. While 2-inch by 6-inch lumber or deck planking may be used in some applications for the rail, they do not meet the safety requirements for a graspable surface. Next question. As a nominal depth, joist should be cantilevered no more than times the joist's width. 5, 10, 3. As a nominal depth, joist should be cantilevered no more than 3 times the joist's width. For example, if you're using a 2 times joist, the maximum cantilever length would typically be 3 times that, or 30 inches. This ensures the joist has adequate support and doesn't risk excessive bending or failure under load. Always consult local building codes for specific requirements, as these can vary depending on material and design. Next question. If and are located too close to posts, they could contribute to rot. Downspout discharges, lawn sprinklers, septic tank access, emergency egresses. If downspout discharges and lawn sprinklers are located too close to posts, they could contribute to rot. Excess water from downspouts or lawn sprinklers can saturate the ground around deck posts, leading to moisture buildup. This constant moisture exposure can promote wood rot, particularly in untreated or poorly protected wood, and compromise the structural integrity of the posts and the deck overall. Proper drainage and strategic placement of downspouts and sprinklers are key to preventing moisture-related damage. Next question. Inspectors should be aware that painted deck posts can wood decay. Cause, hide, prevent. Inspectors should be aware that painted deck posts can hide wood decay. While paint can protect wood from the elements, it can also trap moisture underneath the surface. If the wood is already beginning to decay, the paint can conceal the signs of rot, making it harder to detect problems during inspections. It's important for inspectors to look for other signs of damage, such as soft spots or discoloration, especially around the base of the posts where moisture tends to accumulate. Next question. To see if shingles are loose, you can break off one shingle to inspect the adhesive, tug slightly on the shingle to test for movement. Use significant force to tug on the shingle until it moves slightly. Walk on the shingles to see if they support your weight. To see if shingles are loose, you can tug slightly on the shingle to test for movement. Gently tugging on a shingle allows you to check if it's securely adhered or if it lifts easily, indicating that it's loose. Be cautious not to apply too much force, as this could damage the shingles or lead to further loosening. You can also check the adhesive strip under the shingle by lifting a corner, but avoid breaking shingles or using excessive force. Next question. Which material does not burn, rot, support termites, or suffer hail damage? Asphalt, brick, stucco, wood. Brick is the material that does not burn, rot, support termites, or suffer hail damage. Brick is non-combustible, highly durable, resistant to rot, and not vulnerable to termite damage. It can withstand hail damage better than many other materials, although very large hail might still cause some cosmetic issues. In comparison, asphalt can burn, is susceptible to rot, and may be damaged by hail. Stucco can crack under extreme weather conditions, and termites can affect the wooden framing behind it. Wood is combustible, can rot, and is susceptible to termite infestation and hail damage. Next question. A chimney could lean where it projects above the roof due to deteriorated mortar joints caused by sulfate attack from a concrete chimney cap, a terracotta liner, flue gases, outdoor air, rainwater. A chimney could lean where it projects above the roof due to deteriorated mortar joints caused by sulfate attack from rainwater. Sulfate attack occurs when rainwater, which contains sulfur compounds, mixes with the calcium in the mortar, leading to the breakdown of the mortar over time. This process weakens the joints between the bricks or masonry, potentially causing the chimney to lean or even collapse. Proper waterproofing, sealing, and maintenance of the chimney can help prevent this type of damage. Next question. Foundation removes free water from the foundation's perimeter, which reduces the lateral load on the foundation walls. Proofing, drainage, reinforcement, sealant. Foundation drainage removes free water from the foundation's perimeter, which reduces the lateral load on the foundation walls. Proper drainage around the foundation helps direct water away from the structure, preventing water from pooling and exerting pressure on the foundation walls. This is typically achieved through the installation of a French drain, perimeter drainage system, or weeping tiles. Effective drainage can help prevent foundation damage, water infiltration, and soil erosion. Next question. Asbestos fibers are a health hazard when inhaled, left sitting, seen within 4 feet of any person. Asbestos fibers are a health hazard when inhaled. When asbestos-containing materials are disturbed or damaged, they release tiny microscopic fibers into the air. If these fibers are inhaled, they can cause serious health issues including lung cancer, asbestosis, and mesothelioma. This is why asbestos handling, removal, and disposal must be done with great care by professionals, especially in environments where materials may be disturbed. Next question. Brick and stone can increase the of a building, which provides comfort in the heat of summer and in the cold of winter. Appearance, structural integrity, thermal mass, weight. Brick and stone can increase the thermal mass of a building, which provides comfort in the heat of summer and in the cold of winter. Thermal mass refers to the ability of materials to absorb, store, and release heat. Brick and stone have high thermal mass, meaning they can absorb heat during the day, keeping the building cooler in hot weather, and release it at night or during colder weather, helping to keep the building warmer. This natural temperature regulation can improve energy efficiency and indoor comfort throughout the year. Next question. According to the US EPA, a material containing asbestos is deemed potentially hazardous only in its state. Dusty, freezing, friable, frying. According to the US EPA, a material containing asbestos is deemed potentially hazardous only in its friable state. Friable asbestos refers to materials that can be easily crumbled, broken, or powdered by hand pressure, which releases asbestos fibers into the air. These fibers, when inhaled, pose a serious health risk. Non-friable asbestos materials are generally less likely to release fibers unless disturbed or damaged. Next question. A conventional low-efficiency, natural draft, gas-fired furnace requires about cubic feet of air for every cubic foot of gas burned. 15, 20, 30. A conventional low-efficiency, natural draft, gas-fired furnace requires about 15 cubic feet of air for every cubic foot of gas burned. This amount of air is needed to ensure proper combustion and to help vent exhaust gases safely outside. These types of furnaces rely on the natural draft created by the temperature difference between the exhaust gases and the outside air to expel combustion byproducts. Adequate ventilation is crucial for both efficiency and safety. Next question. A hydronic heating system is a forced heating system. Hot air, hot water, hydrogen, oil burning. A hydronic heating system is a forced hot water heating system. In a hydronic system, water is heated in a boiler and then circulated through pipes to radiators or underfloor heating systems. The heated water transfers warmth to the surrounding air, providing comfortable and efficient heat throughout the building. It is often referred to as forced hot water, because a pump circulates the water through the system. Next question. The simultaneous ignition of all the burners of a gas-fired heating furnace can be provided by a gas burner component called a crossover igniter, flamethrower, standing pilot, thermopile. The simultaneous ignition of all the burners of a gas-fired heating furnace can be provided by a gas burner component called a crossover igniter. A crossover igniter is used in many modern gas-fired heating systems to ignite all the burners at once, ensuring efficient combustion. It typically works by using a spark or a flame to ignite the gas across a series of burners. This component is often found in systems that do not use a standing pilot light, instead relying on an electronic ignition system for safety and energy efficiency. Next question. Air filters should be installed in the return plenum or duct in the path of the air leaving the HVAC system, or in the path of the air that enters the HVAC system. Air filters should be installed in the return plenum or duct in the path of the air that enters the HVAC system. The air filter is designed to capture dust, dirt, and other contaminants from the air before it enters the HVAC system's components, such as the evaporator coil and blower. Installing the filter in the return air duct ensures that the air entering the system is clean, which helps maintain the efficiency of the system and improve indoor air quality. Next question. Is the transfer of heat from one molecule to another or through one substance to another? Conduction, convection, radiation. Conduction is the transfer of heat from one molecule to another, or through one substance to another. In conduction, heat moves through a material due to the direct contact between particles. For example, when one end of a metal rod is heated, the heat travels through the rod to the cooler end because the molecules at the hot end vibrate and transfer energy to adjacent molecules. This process continues throughout the material. Next question. The flue pipe of a fuel-burning heating system should be diameter size as the outlet of the furnace, and it should never be reduced. Always a larger, at least the same, never a smaller. The flue pipe of a fuel-burning heating system should be at least the same diameter size as the outlet of the furnace, and it should never be reduced. The flue pipe should match the furnace's outlet size to ensure proper exhaust gas flow and venting. Reducing the diameter of the flue pipe could restrict the flow of gases, leading to unsafe conditions, such as backdrafting or incomplete combustion. Always follow manufacturer recommendations and local building codes for proper flue pipe sizing and installation. Next question. Propane gas has a specific gravity of 1.5 and is heavier than air, vapor, water. Propane gas has a specific gravity of 1.5 and is heavier than air. Specific gravity is the ratio of the density of a substance to the density of water. Since propane has a specific gravity of 1.5, it is 1.5 times denser than air, which means it is heavier than air. This is why propane tends to pool in low-lying areas if there is a leak, posing a potential safety hazard. It is lighter than water, however, since water has a specific gravity of 1. Next question. High-efficiency condensing HVAC systems produce condensate. True, false, true. High-efficiency condensing HVAC systems produce condensate. These systems extract more heat from the combustion gases than traditional systems, causing the water vapor in the exhaust gases to condense into liquid water. This process increases efficiency, but the condensation must be properly drained away, often requiring a condensate drain system. The water produced is usually acidic due to the byproducts of combustion. Next question. In this illustration, the lights in the window sash are divided horizontally and vertically by narrow strips of wood or metal called halides, louvers, muntins, transoms. In this illustration, the lights in the window sash are divided horizontally and vertically by narrow strips of wood or metal called muntins. Muntins are the bars or grills that divide the window into smaller panes of glass, often seen in traditional windows. When multiple small panes are used, the muntins help to hold them in place and create a grid pattern. If the window has a single large pane of glass but is designed to look like smaller panes, those divisions are often decorative and called grills or false muntins. Next question. According to the InterNACHI Home Inspection Standards of Practice, should inspectors report visible water damage? No, yes. Next question. Insulation in an unfinished space can be installed by it. Gluing, nailing, spraying, steaming, nailing. Next question. To prevent in an attic, it is recommended that enough insulation be installed to cover the tops of the floor joists. Air exfiltration, thermal bridging, thermal movement, wood condensing. To prevent thermal bridging in an attic, it is recommended that enough insulation be installed to cover the tops of the floor joists. Next question. TF. Air sealing is important because air carries both moisture and energy, usually in the direction that the homeowner does not want. True. Air sealing is important because air movement can carry both moisture and energy, often leading to unwanted conditions such as increased heating and cooling costs, moisture damage, and poor indoor air quality. Proper air sealing helps control these factors and improves energy efficiency and comfort. Next question. A common problem occurs when the insulation is compressed in the eaves area in order to fit into a tight space, which diminishes the cost-effectiveness of the insulation, indoor humidity, R value, space in the attic. A common problem occurs when the insulation is compressed in the eaves area in order to fit into a tight space, which diminishes the R value. The R value is a measure of insulation's ability to resist heat flow. When insulation is compressed, its ability to trap air is reduced, lowering its R value and compromising its effectiveness. Next question. The foil facing of blanket insulation should be covered by gypsum board or interior paneling to reduce the hazard. Fire, health, mold, water, fire. Next question. A is a material between bricks, pipes, and other building materials that absorb movement. Expansion joint, finish, flashing strip, vent. Expansion joint. Next question. A member shall the InterNACHI Code of Ethics abide by, avoid, evade at all costs, ignore, not conform to. Abide by. Next question. TF. Accusations of a member acting or deemed in violation of any Code of Ethics rules shall trigger a review by the Ethics Committee for possible sanctions and/or expulsion from InterNACHI. True. Next question. TF. According to the InterNACHI Code of Ethics, an InterNACHI member is encouraged to disclose a client's contact information to a vendor, especially if the inspector receives adequate compensation for it. False. According to the InterNACHI Code of Ethics, an InterNACHI member should not disclose a client's contact information to a vendor without the client's permission, regardless of compensation. This ensures the protection of client confidentiality. Next question. The InterNACHI member must be regarding his/her services dishonest, hypocritical, misleading, truthful. Truthful. Next question. The InterNACHI member disclosed or undisclosed benefits from real estate agents or brokers, is permitted to accept or shall not accept. Shall not accept. Next question. The InterNACHI member shall comply with government rules and licensing requirements of the jurisdiction where she conducts business. All, most, one or two, some. All. Next question. The InterNACHI member shall always act in the interests of the client, even if doing so violates a law. True. False. False. The InterNACHI member is required to act in the best interests of the client but always in compliance with applicable laws and regulations. Violating the law is never acceptable, even if it is in the client's interest. Next question. An InterNACHI member to bring discredit to the home inspection industry. Is not permitted. Is permitted. Is not permitted. Next question. TF. This is an inspection picture of a fireplace ash cleanout. Clay tile is the common type of material used for masonry chimney liners. Least, most. Next question. Built chimneys are not required to be of masonry construction. Commercial, factory, hybrid, residential, factory. Next question. It is to dispose of ashes from a wood stove using a central vacuum system. Acceptable, safe, unsafe, unsafe. Next question. Type vents must be equipped with their own special chimney caps. A, B, O, B. Next question. The top of a factory-built fireplace's chimney has A to divert rainwater from the chimney pipe to the chimney flashing. Masonry stack, smoke chamber, storm collar. Storm collar. Next question. Ventless gas fireplaces have been in several states in the U.S. as well as in Canada and other countries. Legal, outlawed, very common, outlawed. Next question. The flue liner tile should project above the crown or wash a minimum of inches. 1, 2, 4, 8 inches.